If you are an entrepreneur building an online business, this today is for you. We really need to step back and ask ourselves the question, how difficult do things need to be before we quit? Or maybe how much stamina do we actually have as individuals? This is such an interesting thing to really kind of pick apart. Being a business coach for many health coaches and people in the wellness field, I find that there are many people who say it is literally their life's work to build an online business, and they will do anything that it takes. But the moment that things get a little bit sticky, a little bit messy, a little bit hard, they allow self-doubt to absolutely bury them. And this is what I really want to talk about today. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jen Casey. I am a business strategy coach, and I help online entrepreneurs in the health and wellness field turn their social media into sales. Today, we are diving into the three truths of entrepreneurship that I think some people, they don't necessarily know that these are some things that are going on in the process, that they are normal things to be experiencing. And so when it happens, it's just this new thing and they kind of freak out. So we need to talk about this today. This definitely needs to be addressed. But the first question we have to ask is really throughout this whole conversation, what level of endurance and stamina do I have, and how easily do I quit? The first thing I really want to talk about is that entrepreneurship is not school. I know that there's a temptation to have all of your ducks in a row, to get into perfectionist mode, to want to have everything done, everything perfect before you launch, to become the sought-after go-to expert who knows absolutely everything, who is a walking encyclopedia before you ever sign on your first client. But if you are waiting for that moment, you are going to be really broke. Really broke. You cannot be profitable if you are spending all of your time waiting for the perfect moment to launch. So many of us are guilty of this, and this was my thing too. So that's why I'm talking to you right now, because I get it. When I was a bartender, my nickname was By the Book. I worked in corporate bartending, and so I loved and enjoyed that there was a system. Every single drink that I made was to recipe so that there was consistency in those drinks. And I was a freaking machine. I made them so fast. I knew every single quarter of an ounce of every little detail, every ingredient. I had a system for how I set up and broke down the bar, and I was really efficient. And that's a skill that I'm able to bring into entrepreneurship, that perfectionist mindset, that system and structure. But now I'm able to be more flexible with it because I recognize that it's not really in service when you get so rigid that everything needs to be in place before you jump. I see a lot of entrepreneurs going into the online space with the hopes that they're going to get a gold star and an A+. And I know for many of you in network marketing, that is a big draw of that whole system, that you have an upline, you get recognized, you have a team of people who cheer you on. But for those of you who either don't have a strongly connected team or are just going it on your own, shit's going to get real lonely. So you've got to find that mastermind of people, number one. And number two, you have to become self-sufficient. There's not necessarily going to be a lot of people in your family or groups of friends when you first get into it who are in that same mindset, who have that same vision. And so instead of going to them and running things by them and asking for permission and waiting for somebody to give you that gold star, you've got to own that you're kind of a rebel. You are. You are a rule breaker. You're not doing things the way that everyone else is doing them. And so I really want to encourage you to break out of the mentality that you're in school, that you have to hand your papers in on time. Even when it comes to group programs, Angie and I run the Wellpreneur Business Academy, and there are many of our students in that program who want to be a good student, who enjoy having someone guide them. And I love having someone mentor me and guide me, but at the end of the day, you've got to take some liberties. Like if you don't get your stuff done, who cares? If you're out hustling and growing your business and implementing the crap out of stuff, go do that. This is your business. It's your rules. You can always go back to things and, take another look at them when you feel like you're ready to implement that. But, everybody is on their own path and on their own journey. And if you're comparing yourself to other people, you're going to be miserable. You're going to be real miserable. One of the Yay, Angie-san! One of the greatest lessons that Angie taught me was that I need to not be super rigid in my business and have a little bit more fun. And that's kind of a mantra that she helped me to adopt and really bring into my business, that if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. And I really found that for myself, even before we started working together, when I started recognizing that the way that I was building my business was not intuitively aligned with what I wanted. You've got to go after what you want. If it's not fun, if something's not feeling right to you, you need to have a critical eye about how you can adjust it to make it fun. Because if it's not fun, what the heck is the point? Literally, what is the point? If it's not fun, why are we doing it? Why are we here? So many of you have these big ideas, these big visions, a big purpose, a big passion. And if you're not able to execute it in a way that's fun, either find another way or do something else. Maybe it's not the thing that you thought it was going to be, and that's okay. That's okay. The second thing is, I want you guys to understand that when you up level, when you make that decision to invest a lot of money, to hire a coach, to go to an event, to finally launch the business, to get your first client, when you are getting in that place where you are up leveling and starting to step outside your comfort zone, oftentimes shit starts to hit the fan. If we have a lot of limiting beliefs or things kind of buried in our subconscious, oftentimes those little gremlins, they rear their ugly head and try to take us down. And that might be in the form of us going, oh my gosh, can I really do this? And all of a sudden we go into panic mode. Maybe we have a sudden anxiety attack, or maybe we get in a car accident, or, all of a sudden we forget 10 things that we had to do. We miss appointments and we're like, what's going on with me? Why am I being all of a sudden, all this weird stuff starts happening. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? What is happening? And we're like, oh my gosh, maybe this is a sign from the universe that I should stop. Because when it rains, it pours, and things are only going to get worse from here. But I want you to recognize that that's really just those are limiting beliefs, unconscious beliefs that you've been carrying around, and you've kind of poked them a little bit. You poke the sleeping lion because the lion's got to go. And now he wants to fight. So it's up to you to make that decision to either push past those fears that you have now awakened, push past them, get even more uncomfortable, and then you're going to feel like a freaking rock star and you're going to have a rush unlike anything else. Or you're going to go back into the safety bubble where the lion goes back to sleep and still lives there unpoked. So you have a choice. And when I first decided to jump headfirst in to entrepreneurship, this was when I was like, I'm quitting my job, I'm burning the ships, I'm going all in. Oh my God, I cannot tell you how many people were like, well, I've really wanted to quit this job forever, but, it's hard. It's really hard. And, you should probably stay a little bit longer to really beef up your savings a little bit. And the excuses and the reasons why I should just stay a little bit longer poured in like the most insane thing that I've ever seen. People who I regarded and trusted, who were my good, close friends, who were mentors of mine, family members. My own friggin' therapist was like, oh, this is interesting. Like, okay, bye. Yeah, we did not see each other after that. But you have to realize that if you've got that fire in your gut, and you see the vision, even if no one else can see it, realize that they're not learning what you're learning. A lot of you guys, your husbands, your best friends, they don't see your vision. They don't get it. They just think you're this crazy person until you do it. And then they're like, oh, wait, can I create an online business too? So recognize that, not everybody knows what you know. You've got a vision. You've got a fire in your gut. Trust that feeling. Trust that is there for a reason. That didn't just come out of nowhere. It's there for a reason. So many people tried to talk me out of doing it. Do not let that happen to you. If there are people in your life who are maybe not on board with what you're doing right now, you got to find some new friends. Got to find new friends to mastermind with. Otherwise, you're going to be really freaking lonely. So, join some Facebook groups with other entrepreneurs who are in a similar field and connect with people, mastermind with people, get ideas. Do not sit home alone trying to figure it out on your own. That is legit, the fastest way to get to isolation and torture. Okay, number 3 is you have to put down the shame, the guilt, and the ego, okay? When I say put down the shame, I kind of made a joke the other day on Facebook. I was like, it's like an ugly 90s backpack with a really creepy, the ones with the creepy monkey keychain. Like, it's just not a cute look. It's not a cute look anymore. That is going to drag you down. If you're constantly looking at your life and saying, I should be further along by now, and you keep shoulding yourself, you're going to constantly be contradicting what you are putting out into the universe. If you're saying, I can't wait to build this amazing business of my dreams, and then 2 seconds later, like, but I should be further along, and I should be doing as well as all these other people, and I should be making more money by now, and I should be more successful, like, cool, you just canceled that. You just canceled that. So you're like, I'm going to build the best business ever, cancel. So let's not do that and be really, really mindful and really aware of our thoughts and the words that we speak. Because if you're telling your friends that, and your boyfriend and your husband and your wife and whoever that, all the other people are so much further ahead of me, like you got to unfollow some people and really check your mindset and really find a way to get into a more positive mindset practice. Because that's a slippery slope. I mean, man, you can get yourself stuck in a really long rut if you do that. I mean, shoulding yourself is just like, ugh, like who wants to do that? You are where you are. You're meant to be where you are. Pay attention to what is going on and use what's happening around you as inspiration and fuel. Any situation, any circumstance that is happening to us at any given moment can be looked at and framed in a new way. You can either look at it and see it as a negative experience and find what is wrong with the situation, or you can look at it through a more positive lens and find what is right and what you can learn from a certain experience. It's completely up to you. That's the difference between people who actually enjoy their life and find success and people who are freaking miserable all the time. They do not want to get out of that state of, shoulda, regret, ego, shame, guilt. And this ego piece, right? When I first started building an online business, things were going really well. I loved it. And then things started shifting and changing. And I was getting real romantic about how things used to be. And I wanted to hold on to that. But things had changed. I had grown. I had evolved. Things in my life had changed. And I needed to get out of the mindset that things had to happen a certain way. That's the perfectionist mode. I made this decision, I put it on my goals list, and so it must happen this specific way. Otherwise, I'm a failure, and applying all of this ridiculous meaning. Like the list goes on and on. I'm a failure, I didn't do it, people will judge me, blah, 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 blah. We've got to become more aware of what we're doing to ourselves because it's just silliness. So we got to check our ego. And I think I kind of want to round this out with just reminding you guys, being an entrepreneur is not easy. It is a freaking roller coaster. When you said, I want to build a business, that is what you signed up for. Sometimes it takes years to grow. I would say for many people, learning all the things, getting things going, typically takes about as long as college. Like you go to college for 4 years. Some people do that for 4 years and go to college and get a job. Some people hustle their face off and grow a thriving business. So if you have been 6 months or 3 months or even 2 years into your business and things are just not where you want them to be, you've got to be patient. You've got to pay attention to what's happening. If you're doing things that no longer work, find new strategies. It's just this awareness piece is so, so key. There's so many people who want to be entrepreneurs, especially in today's day and age where it's this kind of trendy, cool, hipstery thing to be an entrepreneur. But I think at least for the people who are actually really passionate about it and are not into it for just being able to say I'm an entrepreneur, it's this is a sacred thing almost. And so when someone comes in and is not totally serious about it or is just kind of half-assing it or is showing up and is saying, I want to make $1 million this year, but then doesn't show up. It's you have the audacity to come forward and tell me that you want this more than anything you've ever wanted. That showing up for people and helping them overcome their relationship blocks, overcome their money mindset, help them heal their thyroid, whatever it is, you have the audacity to come forward and say, I've got what it takes to grow my own business. I am creative enough. I am motivated enough. I have enough belief in myself. Dude, you gotta do it then. You gotta stop waiting for other people to freaking give you permission and tell you, you are chosen. It is time. You finally have your wings. Dude, no. This is it. This is your moment. You're ready? Go do it. Go start the process. You're not going to be a millionaire, overnight unless you win the lottery or something, but you've got to start up leveling. It doesn't mean that you have to just race up the mountain. Incremental steps, man, just doing stuff every single day, showing up in a big way so that you really can get to that next level. If you have the audacity to say that you want this, you've got to show up for it. And goes back to the beginning where I'm like, listen, how easily do you quit? Are you going to show up? What's your stamina? Stamina and endurance. If you do not have the stamina for this, that is okay. But you've got to recognize that it's not necessarily easy, that it requires actual work. Most people are not willing to get on Facebook Live. Most people are not willing to create a podcast. Most people are not willing to message some random person they've never talked to before who's a big influencer and say, hey, can I interview you? Most people are not willing to record their content and put it into some kind of course and sell it. Most people are not willing to send inbox messages to someone and say, hey, I've been connecting with your content. I think that we should work together. Okay? Most people are not willing to do that, and especially not do that on a consistent basis. So you've got to make the decision for yourself if that's you, if you're the person that pushes past that really uncomfortable place. Maybe for you it's a 1-year mark in business, maybe it's a 2.5-year mark where you have just hit a freaking wall. Something has got to change, and you've got to keep showing up in an even bigger way. You've maybe gotten a little bit complacent, you've gotten a little bit comfortable with what you're doing, so it's time to kind of mix things up a little bit. It's time to really up-level your mindset and get a little bit uncomfortable in what you're doing. So that is what I have for you guys tonight. A quick recap. Entrepreneurship is not like school. You're not going to get the map. There are definitely amazing strategies that are out there. Many things, I have certain strategies that I teach that work really, really well. But at the end of the day, you've got to find what works for you and be that creative mind, be that person that's always looking for the next way to innovate. You've got to be an innovator. Number 2, when you up level, shit gets messy sometimes. Those little gremlins, those limiting beliefs, they tend to come out and they're going to try to tear you down, but you've got to push through them. Whenever I see that in my life or in my business where all of a sudden I get like a little oh snap, the gremlins are out, it's actually a moment for me where I'm able to smile and say, oh my gosh, okay, awesome. I'm up leveling again. I am up leveling. And I actually get excited about it, which is maybe a new way to frame that and look at it in a different way for yourself. And then number 3 is put down the shame and guilt and the ego. It's got to go. It's not a cute look. You're going to have a really difficult time building a successful business if you are constantly shooting yourself and trying to go perfectionist mode and micromanage every little thing that happens. Have fun with your business. That's why you are building it. It's going to be amazing. And I have no doubt that you can do this. So if you found this powerful, feel free to tag a friend below or share it. If you want to learn more about me and come hang out, you can come to the Facebook group Health Coaches Go From Social Media to Sales. You can also type into your URL, healthcoachesmakebank.com, and you can come hang out with me and my biz partner Angie in there, all health and wellness peeps. You guys are all welcome. So come hang out with us and we will see you tomorrow.